So we're going to repot this Satsuki azalea, and it's every bit, I would say, 80 to 90 centimeter tall. It's a big tree, typical S-shaped tree that you get from Kanuma or Saitama in Japan. And I dare say this probably was imported by us years ago, maybe 30 years ago. And it could do with a repot. The special thing about Satsuki azalea that they need to be potted in Kanuma soil with sphagnum moss. So we'll show you how to do this. But we'll just take it out of the pot, give it a gentle tease, back in the same pot. Now we just started teasing the roots. And although the original root ball is over there, he has repotted it at some stage, but he has not used Kanuma soil. This is not Kanuma. This is just a very fine loam type soil. He probably used an ericaceous compost that people use on ordinary garden azaleas. The tree is growing well, but usually with Satsukis, if you don't use the genuine Kanuma soil, apparently they don't perform as well. So although the roots are quite good, we will treat it to a dose of the proper Kanuma soil. So we'll tease away and put it back in the same pot. Of course, when trees, assuming that this was purchased from herons originally, they have done a repot during the lifetime of this tree, because this probably was sold from our nursery maybe 25 or 30 years ago, and every subsequent repot was not done by us, done by someone else. And lo and behold, what do we find here? There's big lumps of chalk he's put in there. I think he thought that that would be a substitute for the Kanuma soil. So you can see what he's used. So people use different things. Not that it is detrimental to the tree, but it's not the ideal substrate for Satsuki azalea. So all that white stuff, although it's providing drainage for Satsuki azaleas, is not the ideal soil. So we're going to change some of that. We'll get back to the original root ball and see what the soil is. That should be Kanuma. But on the perimeter where he is adding more soil, he's put all these big lumps of white chalk, which is not exactly good. So we've teased the root ball out, and it's really only on the perimeter which there were these large lumps of white, I think chalky material they used. Not the ideal type of stuff for Satsuki azalea, so we got rid of that. We've teased the root ball, cut just a tiny bit off, and now this is the proper Kanuma soil. So this is Kanuma soil, and we've mixed about 30% of fine sphagnum moss in there. If I can get Steve to put some water on it, it looks this color, but when you put water, it turns an orangey sort of color. You just put a little bit to show you what Kanuma looks like. Just a tiny bit. Okay, you see? When you put water, that's the color of the Kanuma soil. So we're going to repot this tree in this soil. So that soil is quite expensive. Just to buy that soil is going to cost an arm and a leg. Everything from Japan is expensive. So there you are. You see how much Kanuma soil goes in there. So just the soil alone is worth about 15-20 pounds to fill that pot. So this is the tree almost done. That's the Kanuma soil with moss for Satsuki azalea. And then after doing this, we will water the trees in. I don't need to show you that. You see the importance of using a chopstick, because some of the roots are so fine, you need to really push the soil into all the crevices using a chopstick. So there's lots of finer points to repotting than you would imagine. Using the right soil, taking the right amount of root off, and choosing the right pot, And if it can go back in the same pot, we try to do that. If not, we upgrade it and put it in a newer pot, either for change of design or to give more room for the tree to grow stronger. So with that, I think we have completed the video about repotting this customer's 5 specimen bonsai. So they're all large bonsai, as you can see, they're huge. This is almost 100 centimeter high tree, I would guess. So I hope you've enjoyed this repotting episode of a customer's 5 major trees.